Welcome, everybody, to episode 8 of Duck Hoops. I'm Matt Duckworth. I'm here
Woo!
with my son, Charlie.
What's up?
What's up, man? Just another week of,
Yeah,
some interesting basketball. We got a very interesting weather forecast coming up here. I'm really hoping
yeah.
that I know y'all are supposed to get a ton of snow, and it's looking like we might get a bunch of ice. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. We've had enough ice in Memphis for the last couple months. uh, this is definitely not the type of ice that I want to see. So yeah, but yeah, ready to get into it, man. How lead us off with what you got,
Yeah.
Charlie?
Yeah, so I mean, let's get right into the sort of breaking news of today. Charles Bediako of Alabama. He played a couple years, 2021 to 23 to be exact, at Alabama. Got drafted. He foregoed his eligibility. He got drafted and signed a two-way contract with the Spurs in 2023. He's been granted a temporary restraining order to return to college basketball immediately with the Crimson Tide. So the next three games that Alabama plays, he can play in. That is Tennessee, Mizzou, Florida, and then he could just not have eligibility. But those could be the three biggest games in Alabama's season.
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't like this. I feel like, buddy, you had a chance to stay in college. You've foregone your eligibility. I think you said.
Oh no! Oh no! We've lost connection. Looks like he's eating a burger. Uh, well, like he was saying, he's played 82 games in the G League. He's played in the G League uh for I'm just gonna remove him. Charles Bediako, he played 82 games in the G League for the Austin Spurs. He is currently with the Grand Rapids Hustle, the Pistons G League affiliate. So I mean, flat out, it's just the wrong thing. This is different from James Nnaji in a sense, the Baylor player who also had been drafted, gotten a contract. He was part of the Cat trade. Uh, and I mean, just what's going on? One second. We've had some technical difficulties already on the Boot Hill Sports Network. You know, it's never a month on the BSN without some difficulty with the internet connection. I know we've had a few games this year. So well, we just kill some time. Welcome in, Travion. I know that you you guys missed me and Travion's expert commentary last night in Campbell as the Tigers took on the Camels in that one. But I mean, back to Bediako here. It's a different situation, I'd say, than James Nnaji in a sense. Nnaji played internationally. He was on loan on Barcelona's B squad and went to the draft. No eligibility there, so he gains eligibility by playing college. I'm not supporting the situation, but on the other hand, you have Bediako, who was part of, I believe, an Alabama squad that made the Final Four or made at least the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight in 2023. And now he gets this restraining order. He can play Alabama's three biggest games for this season. I mean, like I said, he has the potential to play Alabama, or he has the potential to play Tennessee, Florida, Mizzou. Those are three big games in terms of KenPom and net rankings, flat out. So, I mean, we're also apologies. We're trying to fix. Oh! Wait a minute.
Yeah. So sorry about that. We had a
Internet,
little internet lag here.
internet man.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. No, man, I think this guy's played 82 G League games. That's a whole season worth of professional basketball.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I don't like it. I don't know that he's going to be able to come back in and seamlessly get in with Nate Oates'
Well,
starting rotation, or
he was
like,
with Nate
how
Oates a
good
couple
was
years
he
ago.
when he was at Bama?
Well, while you say
I'm,
that, let's look up his stats for his time in Alabama. I know that he was on at least a roster that made a deep run in that Sweet 16, I believe, in 2023. He was there from 21 to 23 with the Tide. So let's
I
look.
mean, he obviously was pretty good. He got drafted.
Yeah, I mean, in the tournament, he averaged 10 points in the tournament. He won an SEC title for crying out loud. I believe he had a season high of about 14 in
Yeah.
the in that season. That was against UNC in the Phil Knight Invitational in 2023.
Well, I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. I think it's ridiculous. I think that you know, some of the stuff that borderlines on ridiculous, everybody getting extra waivers, extra years, that's one thing. But when you go and you play 82 G League professional basketball games and then you're allowed to go back into college, something just doesn't sit right with me about that, man.
I feel like it's a calculated effort from Nate Oates on one side. I feel like he sees the three biggest conference games coming up, or the three most important games to win right now: Tennessee, Mizzou, Florida. He can play all three of those games, and then the NCAA can say, "Yeah, get away, kick rocks," and he has to kick rocks. So I mean, there is a chance that this man gets into one of these three games, makes a difference, and then he's gone,
Yeah.
just like that.
I don't like it. I think something's going to have to be done about stuff like this, and I hope they get it fixed sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and so with that, let's get into our predictions from last week, some overviews of last week's games from Wednesday to Tuesday night. And I want to just give another shout out. While you were gone, I gave this shout out, but I'm going to give it again. Travion is in the building here.
Travion,
Travion
your booth
is
partner for
here.
high school basketball.
I
What's up,
know.
man? Uh, yeah, we did have some predictions last week. We started with Florida versus Vandy. I predicted that the Gators would win. You went with the Commodores, and it looks like old Dad got that one correct. It was a hard fought ball game, though. 98-94. The Gators end up led by Xavier Lee, who's a heck of a ball player. He drops 20 in. Tanner from Vandy drops 20 in as well. But the Gators hold on to win this ball game and really start off a bad week for Vanderbilt.
Well, I mean, the bad week started with the Texas loss Wednesday night.
It really did.
Really didn't get into that. Just be off of the fact that we got off the second that game basically tipped off.
That's right.
Last week. But I mean, Vandy, we'll talk about their loss last night in a little bit. But this has been an embarrassing slide sort of for a team that has been kind of the darling of the Power Four this year. I mean, Vandy just coming out of the woodwork, out of nowhere this year. Starting off 16-0, and then they've gotten slapped these past few games. And I know that Florida had some issues with their jerseys. I know they had a few jerseys left behind. Xavier Lee, for example, wore number 99 as opposed to number 1. Maybe he needs to wear 99 all the time because that was his best performance of the season, probably. I mean, 26-2 right there on 61% shooting. Him and Ruben Chinaloo both were, out there balling against Vandy.
Chinaloo had 10 big rebounds. He's an heck of a player, too. Florida's starting to get hot at the right time. But, I wouldn't sound the alarm on Vanderbilt just yet. But, I mean, they're going through the grinder that everyone else is going through in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, most SEC teams scheduled tough out-of-conference play. A lot of them played in tournaments. So they've taken their lumps, then they've gotten into conference play. And, I mean, it's a very good conference from top to bottom. So, I wouldn't worry too much about Vandy. I think they're still going to bounce back and get some dubs throughout here. But it's been a tough week for them for sure. The second game that we predicted, we both took Arizona over UCF, and that's exactly what happened. The Wildcats continue their undefeated season by taking down UCF 84-77. Not led by Koa Pete this time, but led by his partner there. I don't really know lately. I don't know who's Batman, who's Robin, because Jaden Brady's been playing his butt off, or Jaden Bradley, excuse me. 23 points. He got to the foul line 13 times and sunk 11 of those shots. Big game for him. The UCF was led by Themis Fulks, who had 30 points in the ball game. I felt like UCF put forth a good effort, but Arizona, they just keep on winning, man.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this about UCF, an early prediction here. If they get into the tournament, which 14-4 in the Big 12, you probably have a shot right now. I mean, it kind of might be an outside looking in shot, but honestly, they could be a bit of a team, or a team that makes a bit of a scare as like a 10 from the Big 12 against a 7 from the SEC, or a 7 like a big tier power or group of 5 or mid-major team.
Yeah, I think there's some talent there for sure.
Yeah,
but
UCF can provide a scare.
I think this just speaks volumes about Arizona, man. They just keep beating everybody that's put in front of them. And yeah. So the next game we had, we split on. You took BYU versus Texas Tech, and your old Pops ended up right on that one too. Texas Tech put a little whooping on BYU there, led by JT Toppin. He's a guy that doesn't get enough. With everybody talking about AJ from BYU, talking about Boozer, talking about Peterson, and everybody else, I think he kind of falls off a little bit. He had a big night, 27 and 12. Not much from AJ that I saw that night. He had kind of an off game. They were led by Robin Wright. So what do you think, man? BYU, it seems like when they have a tough competition in front of them, man, things aren't as easy for the Cougars there.
I'm going to make this known right now. I'm not picking the Mormons on anything for the rest of the year. I blame them for that loss. Texas Tech just dominated flat out for most of that game. They went on a 25-4 run at one point against BYU. BYU, their biggest lead was 9. Tex was 15. And, it does speak volumes when AJ has an off night and BYU loses by double digits.
Yeah.
And especially the way they did. They let Toppin drop 27, but also they let Christian Anderson, who I feel like no one talks about at all, drop 22. He's been one of the best performers as a whole this year, just in guard play. And then they had LeJon Watts as well. Their forward dropped 20. They had 3 guys drop 20 plus on them. That night. If one of those guys is off, BYU probably wins that game. But they just allowed the shots to fall.
Well, Texas Tech's a good team. I feel like they could make some noise. I can't wait to see them play some of the bigger teams in the Big 12. And I also think that they're one of those teams that I could see getting in on a 3 or 4 line, and possibly upsetting a top flight team. Toppin's the real deal. He's actually getting paid more money than I believe than AJ or Boozer or anybody. I think he's the top paid college player right now.
Because Texas Tech has the best NIL fund.
Yes, they do. That oil money is something serious. But
it is.
So our fourth game we had, both of us took the Arkansas Razorbacks to beat Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's losing ways continued as the Razorbacks at Bud Walton put a 93-68 butt whooping on the Commodores, led by Acuff Jr., who, like I said, is making a case to be SEC Player of the Year, but 5 total Razorbacks in double digits. They spread it around. What say you about this beatdown, Charlie?
Just to be exact, Vandy is in a spot where they cannot afford another loss like this the season. We were talking about the SEC. They had tough conference schedules. Vandy had sort of the weakest link of them all. Vandy and Georgia both sort of had some pretty conference or non-cons just as a whole. Vandy played in Atlantis and they played St. Mary's, but besides that, who did they play non-conference?
That's true.
And
Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis, they almost lost a bad.
Yeah, we took them to overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're going to find out when the rubber hits the road. I mean, if Vandy, they need to get a W, and they need to get one quick. This just solidified what I think about the Razorbacks, man. They have a lot of guys that can score. They are a good team. I think Calipari has put together a fairly unselfish squad there, and a big victory for them. Yeah. And then the final game that we had, it went down to the wire. Both of us took your Mizzou Tigers, that's going to be your home next year, over Georgia, and we were wrong, man. 74-72, hard-fought ball game. Marcus Millender, he ends up being the difference with a three-point play with 5 seconds left in the ball game to end up getting the win for the Bulldogs. He led them with 18 points, and Mark Mitchell led the Missouri Tigers with 18 and 5. But tough loss for the Tigers, Charlie.
I mean, it was a rough one. I mean, flat out. Jacob Cruz hits that 3. I'm going, okay, Mizzou's going to win this. Mizzou, they can do it. And then the foul. I mean, Sean Phillips, what are you doing right there?
That's a tough foul.
No need to foul. And then Millender obviously hits the and one. I think that loss showed some of the ugly parts of this Mizzou team a little bit. I mean, this is a 13-6 Mizzou team. They've lost 2 now. They dropped 1 to LSU over the weekend as well.
Yes,
and
they did.
They have the highest highs, right? I mean, they beat Florida, they beat Kentucky, they beat Auburn. And then they have the lowest of the lows. They lost by 43 to Illinois last month.
That's true.
They lost by 8 to LSU. They had this heartbreaker against Georgia. They lost by 7 against Ole Miss. I mean, it has been the best and worst of both worlds.
It's going to be a tough resume if it keeps going this way when it comes down to tournament time. Because on the bright side, you've got these big quad wins, quad 1 victories, you know?
Yeah.
And, I think most of them are going to end up that way. And then, but you got, the loss to Illinois, they're going to end up being a high quad team. But it was a bad loss. My question is, I just cannot figure out if Georgia is good or not. Like,
I think they are.
I think they are too. But man, at times they don't look like they passed the eye test for me. But this is a big victory for the Bulldogs, because there's a lot of teams at the bottom of that SEC. I think it's going to be a 10-bid league at least. A lot of teams are going to be vying for those last couple bids, and I think this kind of win, it helps the Bulldogs out tremendously.
Yeah, and I just want to mention a few results that we didn't do predictions on. Cal beating UNC Saturday, 84-78. I mean, we watched that game, or we watched bits and pieces of that game. Cal just flat out were the better team in that game. And UNC does make a comeback almost. They tried, but Cal led the whole way through.
Yeah.
That is, if you're Mark Madsen, that right there is a performance that you can put on your resume and go, see, guys, we're a legit ACC team. We beat UNC.
It's a big victory.
And then last night in the late window, 69-67, UCLA beats Purdue, shakes up our top 10s definitely right there. This is an interesting UCLA team. They started off the season ranked pretty high. They were, I believe, number 12 in the nation preseason poll. And then they took one on the chin to Arizona. Arizona, won that game by 4. Then they take another one to Cal, and that's kind of what started people looking at Cal. UCLA falls out. They come back in, lose to Gonzaga the next week, and then they've just been playing the weirdest basketball known to man. They're 13-6, though, and now they have a win over the number 4 team in the nation.
They're in a similar spot to Mizzou with a weird resume there. This one cost me about $170 on a parlay, and I thought it was a lock. I had a mixture of a money line and the spread, and I took, I think I got Purdue. I think it was like -5.5, 4.5, something like that. And I thought, easy money. Woke up and I was like, oh my God, they lost this ball game.
And they lost on a game winner too.
Yeah, it was. It's a big win for the Bruins. I wouldn't panic if I was Purdue, but man, it's not the easiest loss there to stomach. And Purdue at times has trouble finding the basket, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they did it against Iowa State when they got blown out. And in this loss, it was the same thing. Matt Painter and his squad are going to have to figure that out down the stretch, man, because I do think that they are still a team that could hoist the trophy at the end of the year, but they're going to have to figure some of these scoring woes out, especially in conference play when you got people like Michigan and everybody else in there. So.
Yeah, especially when you have some of the best scoring teams in the
man. You're absolutely right. I mean, and there's a lot of that Big Ten's just loaded. So,
yeah,
I think Coach Painter will figure it out, but that was a tough loss.
I want to have a quick discussion about Michigan as a whole. The last time we were talking about them, we kind of described them as a team that just took one against Wisconsin. They'll be fine. They have not been winning Michigan like this year. I maybe it's just them coming down to earth after the highest highs of December, right? But I mean, they survived a scare in Eugene.
Yeah.
Saturday. I mean, Oregon. It looked like they were going to win that game. I mean, they were up at halftime by 1. They led by 3 early in that second half. But then Michigan turned on the Jets, and then last night they played Indiana and steamrolled past Indiana.
Yeah.
They won by 14, but I mean, at one point they were up by 25 points. They kind of probably pulled everyone, let it get back into the game. Which Michigan team are we going to get come March?
Well, I think that's the case with a lot of squads, man. I think that I wouldn't worry. I think this team can still put up points and do it quickly. They're just going to have to learn how to finish down the stretch a little better. And I thought maybe that Oregon game, I thought, well, maybe that says something about Oregon. And then they got their butts whipped by Michigan State last night. So, yeah, I don't know. I still got them as one of the elite teams. But, I think Coach May's got some things to figure out like there. But I think a lot of teams around the nation do. I mean, there's only a few that are rolling. And there's only a couple that are undefeated. And one of them just keeps scraping by, man. What about Miami of Ohio last night winning another overtime ball game?
Miami of Ohio, it might be the 2020 Dayton team reincarnated or something.
What's that kid, tall white kid for them, man, their best scorer?
Oh my Lord. I forgot. Peter Suter?
Yes. Peter Suter looks like the kind of guy that we could end up talking about after they end up in the second weekend of March Madness, because he drops 40 in the first 2 games combined, or like first 2 games each. He is a scorer, man, and he's got ice water through his veins. We watched that game this weekend that he hit the game winner. I mean, I don't know, dude. I feel like they're really good, and then the only other one that I know of is Arizona. Well, no, Nebraska as well.
Oh yeah, Nebraska. But Nebraska, they just fly under the radar for me, even though they're really good.
Yeah. All right, where are we going next, Charlie?
Well, let's start off with our predictions for next week.
All right.
And
you
then
do that first.
Yeah, and then we'll get into our top 10s with the media poll. Top 10, what the stats say are the best teams in the nation, and then Birth Watch, which is what we're going to start this week. We're going to start Birth Watch. It's this graphic that shows who has clinched a bid already. We've already had 2 clinches early. It feels like, but I mean, who knows? I mean, we're January 21st, and we have 2 teams that are probably locks for the tournament.
I mean, these analytics nerds know more than I do. I just feel like it's a little early to be locking people in, but I we'll talk about it when we get there. So what's on the slate for this upcoming week, Charlie?
Yeah, mostly it's a Saturday, Monday slate as a whole. Some kind of weaker games earlier. We got the game Friday of Michigan, Ohio State, but I mean, Michigan's going to probably steamroll Ohio State. But the first real game of note to me is at the 1 p.m. slot, ESPN 1, UNC traveling to Virginia. That is the number 22 versus the number 14 in the nation. And I mean, Virginia, ever since that loss to Vautech, they have been rolling recently. I mean, they beat NC State, they beat Cal, they beat Stanford, beat Louisville, and then they beat SMU over the weekend. And the SMU and Louisville wins are the only two that were within double digits.
And they host this ball game, correct?
The game is on the campus of the University of Virginia.
It's a tough one, man. UNC coming off of a pretty nasty loss out there to Cal. This one's kind of tough for me. I think UNC might have the more talent. Caleb Wilson's having a heck of a year too. He doesn't get mentioned as much. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. But man, give me the Virginia Cavaliers to win this ball game. I think that they're riding the hot hand, and I think that that UNC is going to have a tough time going in there and getting it done. I do think it'll be a close ball game, but give me UVA.
Yeah, give me the Hoos too, because they have been able to roll teams. The one common opponent recently that they've both had is Cal. UNC lost by 4. Virginia won by 24. So I mean,
it's kind of like you said. Ever since that thriller they lost to Vautech, they've just been on a mission. And Coach Tony looks like he's got a pretty good squad right there. So.
Yeah, and so then the next game I got 2 p.m. It's Big Ten action. Number 11 Illinois taking on number 4 Purdue in Mackey Arena. This is one that's interesting to me. I want to hear your pick first, though.
Well, I'm going to tell you, these are two teams, and it's still early on, that I could actually see hoisting the trophy. I know Illinois has had some kind of rough losses, but if you look at the metrics by like power rankings and stuff like that, they're still very well respected. They've got a very good squad from Stojakovic to everyone else there. I just think that they're going to run into a monster at Mackey is what's going to happen. I think that Matt Painter is going to be upset with that loss out on the West Coast, but I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to get everybody right. Give me the Boilermakers to win a close one at home.
Look, Purdue is one of the best teams in the nation, right?
Absolutely.
Illinois, one of the best teams in the nation, but they're streaky.
Yes, they are.
And I feel like with all the pressure on them, they're not going to crack. Give me the Fighting Illini by 6 against the Boilermakers.
All right, that's going to be a good ball game. That'll be must-watch TV for sure.
Yeah, hopefully none of these games get moved or anything. That's my biggest fear, is that we have some movement in some games, because
there could be. I mean, this is a big weather event, as they're calling it, happening.
Yeah.
And man, at this point in time, I'm just hoping I get to watch them. But we'll see, man. I think that's going to be a heavyweight fight, though.
Yeah.
I really do.
Next up, 5:30 slot. Houston, the number 6 team in the nation, travel to Lubbock. They have to play the Red Raiders.
Yeah. This is one that I've been waiting on. I tell you right now, Houston's been on a heater. Y'all know how high I am on them. Texas Tech, same way. Big win over BYU. Toppin is a beast. They've got this game at home.
Yeah, they lost a couple weeks ago to Houston.
Yeah,
in Houston.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be out for revenge. I really do. Give me Texas Tech to pull the upset on Houston.
I was going to say the same thing. I thought I was going to sound like the silent minority here.
No, I think this will be a 2-3 point ball game either way, and I do think Houston could win it. But I think Texas Tech's just riding a little hot hand. I think Toppin's going to be coming out there to play. I think they want to avenge that loss. So you're going to go with the Raiders as well?
Yep. I'm going to go with the Red Raiders. It mainly matters to me off of just how well can Houston go on the road in this environment. I mean, Emmanuel Sharp, the their senior guard. He's good, right? But are we going to get his performance against Baylor or Texas Tech the first time where he had 17, or his performance at Cincinnati where he had 2?
Yeah.
Which one are we going to get from him?
Well, like I've said all year, man, then this is the one thing that's always bothered me about Kelvin Sampson's teams. I know they're going to play defense. I know they're going to hustle. I know they're going to create turnovers. Can they score enough to win the ball game? This one, I think that they're going to fall a couple short on.
All right, and next we have a SEC blockbuster. I'm sure it's going to be the Sonic blockbuster of the night, sponsored by Gatorade and Sonic and the Sonic Smasher triple cheeseburger. Whatever they're doing now.
They love to throw in a lot of those ads, don't they?
We got this game might be one that does get postponed. I will say this is a kind of put an asterisk on this. This one might get moved. Tennessee traveling on the road to Tuscaloosa, having to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I'm going to go first here because I feel very, very strange about this Tennessee team. Just flat out. They had a barn burner against A&M on Tuesday. Then Saturday, I mean, they lost Kentucky by 2, but, I mean, they were leading that whole game.
Yeah,
right?
Up double digits for most of it.
Yeah, they were leading by 17 at one point. And they're a very, very solid squad. But then they have those moments of where one loss just kind of takes the soul out of them. It happened earlier this year after they lost to Kansas. I mean, they lost to Kansas, then Syracuse, then Illinois. But then they came back and they beat Louisville the next game right there. And then, I mean, you have another where they lost to Arkansas. Oh, well, they beat Texas, and then they got smoked by 26 against Florida. I mean, what Tennessee team are we going to get? Are we going to get the game against A&M where they kind of scrap it out, or the game against Kentucky where they flare out at the end of the game? And that's what makes me pick Alabama in this one. I think the crowd is going to just get too much onto Rick Barnes' team. Alabama's coming off of a gritty win against Oklahoma in Norman. They're coming off a big win against Mississippi State in Starkville. Those fans have waited 2 weeks, it's going to be, for a home game again after their last one. Though it's going to be a loud, raucous environment.
All right. Well, I mean, this is the battle of two of the things I cannot stand hearing the Vols fans sing Rocky Top, even though I'm fine with the song, and I damn sure hate hearing Roll Tide. So, but I got to make a pick one way, and I think you nailed it. I think Rick Barnes' team is very good. In fact, if you look at the metrics in power rankings, net, all this stuff, Alabama and Tennessee are really close to each other. So I think that they're pretty evenly matched. But like you said, Bama hadn't had a home game in a couple weeks. They're coming off firing. I do get worried about them because if the threes don't fall for Bama, it's usually a long night. But I got to agree with you, son. Give me the Tide to roll there in Tuscaloosa.
Who knows? They might have a super senior on their team too.
God.
At this point, well, Monday is the slate. Next Monday is the night to watch college basketball. We have Louisville versus Duke, the rematch of a game in the Yum Center a couple of weeks ago where Duke, I mean, they were losing by double digits at halftime, and then they came out and just that second half, they were automatic in that game. Now, this one is going to be in Cameron Indoor. This one is going to be in front of the home crowd. Duke has been rolling teams recently. I mean, they beat SMU by 7, but then they beat Cal by 15, Stanford by 30. I think that Duke potentially wins this game by 12 or 14.
Well, I tell you, Louisville was a team that I was very high on. And I still think that once if they start hitting threes, man, they're going to be hard to deal with. I think you're right about Duke. They've been rolling lately. I just can't pick against them here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. I feel like those kids are going to be jumping up and down the whole game. I do think this will be a close ball game. I think Louisville will shoot the ball fairly well. I think they might even have a lead at halftime. But in the end, give me John Shire, give me the Blue Devils to win this ball game. I'm going to say by about 5.
And I mean, the next question is, when does Michael Brown Jr. come back? He got hurt in the Memphis game, I believe, and he said, one step closer. Been working extremely hard to get back as soon as possible, and after great news, I'll begin practicing this week. So, is there a chance
He could play.
Is there a chance that he comes back? He said that 2 days ago on Twitter. So, I mean, does he come back this week? Does he get a couple good practices? He's feeling fine. He can come back, because that makes a big difference to me. If he can come back and play,
well, that's why I'm thinking it's going to be close, because I read the same thing you did. I think he's going to come. I think he's going to give it a go. So,
we'll big risk that you're taking, but still,
it is.
More power to you. And the next game on Monday, the Big 12 just can't cease to amaze us. Arizona going on the road to Provo, playing the Cougars of BYU.
Matchup of a couple of the best players in the nation. Really a lot of talent on the floor. Winning in Provo is not easy. Not in any sport. If anybody else is out there has ever been to Utah, which I have, man, it's like a whole nother country there. It's a completely different place.
Well, why is it a completely different place?
Well, I mean, for a lot of different reasons. I mean, it's not just that it's an overwhelmingly Mormon, and very religious state. It's just, it's just different. If you almost have to experience it there. I went out there years ago, watched Widespread Panic play in Salt Lake, and I was like, man, this is a strange but beautiful place. I will say that. This, I would think most people would think be a big trap game for Arizona, because they have not. I understand UCF's decent, but Arizona hadn't played a whole lot of top echelon talent in a while. I think this game is really going to depend on AJ. Does he have a big ball game? I mean, if he has a big ball game, then they can win. If he doesn't go out there and drop 25 plus, then Arizona's going to roll them. Everything in my heart and my brain is telling me to pick Arizona to win this ball game. But I just feel like BYU is due for one. I think AJ's going to have a big game. Give me the Cougars by 5 over the Arizona Wildcats.
I mean, this is going to be a very fun one. It might not even be the best game of this week, because the last one that we predict is probably a potential game of the year. But, I mean, this one, just flat out, I mean, we're looking at BYU coming into this game. They're 12-0 at home. Their 2 losses are on the road. And they have just been able to kind of will their way to victory a lot of the times. I mean, that buzzer, or the game winner in MSG a couple months ago at this point, or almost a couple months ago at this point. But to the same detriment of Arizona, who has BYU really played. They played Texas Tech and lost by 13.
Yeah.
That's why I'm picking the Wildcats. And I'm picking Koa Pete to have a big bounce back game. Give me him having 20 and 10 against BYU. So, our last game of our predictions. What can you guess what I say is a potential game of the year?
I have no clue. I haven't looked at the slate. What do you got? Give me the conference and I'll try to guess it.
It's the Big Ten.
It's the Big Ten. Is it Michigan State?
No.
Did I get either team right?
You got one of them. So you got Michigan right. It is 18-0 Nebraska going on the road to Ann Arbor to play Michigan. This game, like I said, potential game of the year territory right here. I don't like throwing game of the year around before a game happens. But when you have an 18-0, potential 19-0 if they beat Washington tonight versus a Michigan team who, I mean, they beat Ohio State. They're 18-1 coming into this game. it's going to be a raucous crowd in Ann Arbor. I mean, not like there's anything to do in Ann Arbor in the first place besides
I've been there, and you're not wrong.
besides
I mean,
go to
aside from the
Michigan.
college bars, there ain't much to do there.
So besides that, I mean, they live for Michigan sports right here. And this is going to be such a loud environment, but I could see Nebraska kind of having a takeover here. I could see a lot of their fans taking that travel. They have the best traveling fans in sports.
That's for sure. We saw that at March Madness a couple years ago. We walked out at intermission, and I'm talking Beale Street was nothing but Cornhusker fans. It felt like. I don't disagree with you there, but man, this is an interesting ball game. Nebraska has proven that they are the real deal, and that they can score, and that they can play defense, and they are primed to keep that undefeated streak going. But no. Every team shall come back down to earth unless you're the last undefeated team was Indiana in like 76 or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, Nebraska is going to go in here and they are going to get beat. And in my opinion, they're going to get beat by double digits. The Wolverines are going to bring them back down to earth. It's not going to be a bad thing for the Cornhuskers, in my opinion. It's actually going to be a really good thing. But you were talking about Dusty May and some of these weird outcomes lately. Watch this. Give me Michigan by at least 12.
Okay. I think that Michigan is a very solid team. I think that any night they can beat a team by 40 if they really want to, because they've done it like 6 times this year already. Nebraska's coming into this game, chip on their shoulder, really. I mean, they're 18-0, but they've only played 5 games away from home. And I mean, they beat Northwestern and Oregon, who have been punching bags this year for Big Ten teams. But besides that, they barely beat Indiana. They barely beat Ohio State. They barely beat Michigan State. They barely beat Illinois. But then they waxed Wisconsin. They waxed Creighton. So who knows what this team's like coming into this game? And honestly, this is a potential 1-seed qualifier, or early 1-seed qualifier, because the winner of the Big Ten's getting the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Right? And
I think they may get 2 1 seeds, but yeah.
This is a early showing of who could be that Big Ten winner. Anything could happen in the tournament, though. Oregon could go on a miracle run. Dana Altman could coach that team to some miracle run. I don't know. That's not going to happen.
My Oregon-colored duck says no. But who you got?
You know what also is not going to happen? Michigan's not going to win this game. Give me the Cornhuskers by 6.
Whoo, look at you. Going out on a limb. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, well, save these predictions, and we'll see if Daddy doesn't spank you again next week.
Okay. So let's transition into some rankings talk, flat out. So actually, let's start off with Birth Watch. I know that you don't like teams getting called locks early in this year, but this is from T3 Bracketology. This is what they consider their Birth Watch. And right now, Nebraska and Arizona are their 2 locks for the tournament. And honestly, they probably are the locks for the tournament.
Yeah, but I mean, by that tone, you telling me Michigan's not going to be in the tournament? You telling me that all 4 of those high odds teams from the Big Ten aren't going to be? I mean, this is just kind of like.
What if they all lose out though?
Yeah, well, that's.
I think this is like considered as a non-acquired bid as well too, because you see Miami of Ohio as a bubble out team, but they're a lock because they're probably going to win the MAC unless Akron has something to say about that come March in Cleveland. But I mean, besides that, I feel like this is pretty bang on. One thing I don't agree with is Ohio State being a bubble team or a bubble in team. Ohio State has done nothing to impress me this year besides keep that game close against Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
I think Indiana or UCLA are better teams than Ohio State and have a better resume
I think
than
I'd
Ohio
agree with
State.
you there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
would.
but I mean, besides that, I mean, you got Utah State in the Mountain West. They took one on the chin again last night to UNLV.
Mhm.
I know that, but besides them in the Mountain West, there's not a lot of competition that they have right now.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got the A10, the America's favorite conference. SLU and George Mason are the bubble in teams.
Man, I'm loving watching SLU. They
Yeah.
had 5 players score double digits last night. They are. It's reminding me of the Billikens teams I grew up watching. So that's interesting. I don't know. Just from looking at this, it's way early. I'm looking at the SEC, and for the most part, I agree with what I'm seeing there. I do think that Ole Miss could end up with some big wins and end up working their way out into this tournament. They beat Mississippi State. They who they beat at the buzzer? LSU the other night.
Yeah.
No, it was
No,
Georgia. They beat Georgia.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I don't know that I would put them as a flat bubble team yet. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff on there that I'm looking at that I'm like, yeah, the good shapes. I agree with UCF. Um, for the most part, I agree with basically everybody they've got in there. I do think that looking at it, I think you're right on the Big Ten. I think Indiana's gonna be a bubble. I think they're gonna get in eventually. I think they're too good. I think UCLA could too, to be honest with you.
I mean, they got a resume builder now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this will be fun to revisit in a couple weeks, but it's still early.
Yeah, and then this is another graphic from T3 Bracketology. This is the best resumes in quotes. This is using strength of record and like the KenPom index and
Yes.
others. Then you divide it by 3. You add all their resume stuff up by 3, and then divide it by 3. So right now their top 10 teams, or resume wise, is Vandy, Gonzaga, Michigan State, Houston, Michigan, Purdue, Nebraska, UConn, Duke, Arizona.
Yeah, I don't like this metric either because it's just applying wins to strength of schedule. And I mean, this is another one in a couple weeks that we'll visit that I think will be interesting. One of the things I do see on there that is kind of interesting is that Georgia's at 29 there. I think that's kind of interesting. I've noticed there is a ton of teams from a couple conferences on here. And
I noticed that the U is here.
Yeah.
I did not know that Miami had like this all unstoppable resume so far in the season.
I think this one will be fun to revisit in a couple weeks, but I think it weighs a lot heavy on the wins there. Because, like, if you're telling me Arizona's had the best resume of the year, I don't know that I agree with that, man.
They beat Bama and Auburn back to back.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then, of course, we have the AP poll. I don't have to look it up and read it to y'all. We all have a nice graphic here by On3 to look at. So, looking at the first 5, we got Miami of Ohio, SLU, Louisville, UNC, and Georgia as the first 5 in. I think that those are all perfectly fine spots. This was made before the Purdue loss, but after the UNC loss. So this is Monday morning right here. So then we also have Arkansas, Kansas, Clemson, Alabama, and Florida. Clemson has been so under the radar this year as a team. Coach Brunell has just been able to really glide this team to victory.
Yeah, he's a heck of a coach.
Yeah, and they have just been so quiet on that Eastern Front as a whole. Because when you hear the ACC, you think of Duke automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. You think of Duke and maybe Virginia as the elites currently. But, I mean, you got Clemson, you got UNC in the mix too. Those two teams can make some magic in this last month into conference tournament time. And then you also, from 15 to 11, you got Vandy, you got the aforementioned Virginia, BYU, Texas Tech, Illinois, And then the 10, you have Michigan State, Iowa State, Gonzaga, Nebraska, Houston, Duke, Purdue, Michigan, UConn, and Arizona. Arizona is the unanimous #1 team in the nation. They all 64 media votes for first place. So
Yeah, it's funny to see those lists because I don't know, mine differ a little bit, but yeah, it's interesting to see. And speaking of which, you ready to get into our top 10?
let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'll start
I think
off.
I'll let you start. Or I started last week, so why don't you
Yeah.
start and go through your honorable mentions all the way up to 6?
All right. So my honorable mentions. I have to do it for my head. Miami of Ohio is an honorable mention for me. They're undefeated. If you're undefeated this late into the year, you're impressive team to me. I don't care what their strength of schedule is. I mean, they're in the MAC, for crying out loud. What can they really do? The MAC might be a 2 bid this year if they go undefeated. So
Could be.
anything can happen.
They're
Then
fun to watch, that's for sure.
Then you got Vandy, you got Illinois, and you got Iowa State. I have to have Iowa State fall out. They won big last night, but I don't feel right in the head if I have Iowa State in there after that colossal that they took last week.
Hey, Nikki.
So then starting off at 10, I have Texas Tech. I think that when I was debating between Illinois and Texas Tech and Iowa State. Those three were kind of a debate right there. I don't know. I think Texas Tech just had the more impressive week. I think that Texas Tech is the less beatable of the three.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real. I think Texas Tech, that win against BYU, they have a win against Duke that I feel like no one talks about as well because it happened during Christmas break. But I mean, Duke and BYU are two big resume builders to start. JT Toppin's one of the best players in the nation. Texas Tech just has that oil money. They are prepared for anything. Number 9, I got Purdue. They fall down a little bit after the loss to UCLA. 2 losses on the season, one by 35, one by 2. Or one by 3. It's a weird time to be a Purdue fan because they've struggled in their wins sometimes, and then they've utterly dominated teams at the same time. If you're a Purdue fan, obviously you know we compete for the national title year in, year out. But this might be one of those years where we go out in the Sweet 16. Who knows?
Could be.
Number 8, I got Gonzaga. They played in the West Coast Conference, so they have a pretty easy conference schedule. So they're probably going to sit at this 8th to 7th spot most of the rest of the year, unless they lose or beat St. Mary's by 40 or something. Then they're probably going to stick in this spot. They have some impressive wins, but until next year, when they're in a real conference, they're going to stay in this spot to me.
Okay.
Number 7, I got Michigan State. Still just one of the most impressive teams in the nation to me. The ability to shoot the lights out with the Izzo style of play still being there as well is very impressive. Jeremy Fears is a dog. Jackson Kohler is a dog. And they have some dogs on that squad. And then number 6, I got Nebraska. Nebraska is a team that very well, by the end of next week, could be number 1. Like there's a real chance that they could be number 1. They beat Michigan and Arizona loses. They're my number 1. I'll be flat out right there.
All right. For honorable mentions, I've got Iowa State as well. I still think they're good, but they fell off a little bit for me. I've got BYU, which I swear to God has been on my honorable mention list. It seems like 80% of the year. If they, I promise you, if they get this big win that I think that they are going to possibly get, they'll be in my top 10. And the other 2 I got are Arkansas and Illinois. So I'll run through mine fairly quickly. I do have a kind of a little controversy at 9, but we'll see. At 10, I've got the Florida Gators, the defending champs. I know they took some lumps early on, but man, they are playing as good a basketball as anybody right now. Beat Vandy. I mean, they've got some wins coming, and they look like they're turning it on at the right time. At 9, I've got a tie.
Okay.
I had to.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I've got Purdue and Texas Tech tied
Okay.
at 9. You said everything I needed to say about both teams. I do think that if Tech can beat Houston, that
Yeah.
God, they're going to climb up there for me. Because, like you said, they beat Duke earlier this year. I know they lost to Arkansas, but they're as good as anybody, I think. At 8, you're right on point with Izzo. I've got Michigan State at 8. I've got the Cornhuskers at 7.
Okay.
And then, unlike you, I'm not going to disrespect the Zags as much for playing in the West Coast Conference.
Okay.
Just because what I've seen them do against other teams. So I've got the Bulldogs at 6.
Okay. I mean that's fair. I still gotta hate on Gonzaga a little bit.
I understand.
I mean when they play against West Coast Mormon Tech and
I get it
every night, and then Bama has to go on the road to Auburn or Rupp Arena.
Well, let's remember what they did to Bama, though. So.
Yeah, let's remember what Michigan did to them too. I mean,
that's true. So, who you got in your top 5?
My top 5, I got Houston. I mean, they got killer defense. They're another team that could jump up to that number 1 spot after this week. They have the ability to not score with the best of them, but defend with the elites. They are one of the best defensive teams in the nation by far. They're really good at defense. It's just what Houston offense are you going to get against Texas Tech this week? Number 4, I got Michigan. Feels weird to be talking about Michigan in a negative light. I've kind of glazed them all year, but they've played some wonky basketball in the past couple weeks. So I got to keep them at 4. UConn at 3. Some gritty wins this week for the Huskies. Just flat out grit.
I agree.
Shine through. And number 2, I got Duke. Number 1, I got Arizona. You already know the 2. They've been my 2 for the past 3 weeks, basically.
Yep. I totally get it. Well, my list is the exact 5 same teams, just in a different order. I've got UConn at 5. I do agree that they've got gritty wins. And I'll say this. These top 5 they're right there, man. But I've got UConn at 5. I've got Houston at 4. Even though I think they may lose this week, I've got faith in Houston down the stretch. I've got Dusty May and the Wolverines at 3. We'll see. They've got a big ball game. We're going to find out a lot about them this week. And it's been the same all year. I've got Arizona at 2, and I've still got the Dukies, baby, as Dickie V would say. I think they're the most complete team right now. Until somebody proves me wrong on that, they're going to be my number 1. So, got the Blue Devils.
Okay. I mean, that Duke, they're impressive. It's hard for me to rank a 1-loss team over a undefeated team. Like
I understand.
At number 1. That's why I'm talking about Nebraska. If they beat Michigan, there's a chance. There's a chance they go up there. So, do we want to talk about our top 5 for this week?
Yeah, let's close this thing out with our list. We promised every week that we were going to give you guys a specialized list, and this week we want to talk about the Blue Blood programs.
All right.
I mean, to be a Blue Blood, you've got to have that, not just the alumni following. You got to have that national following, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You've got to have rings. You've got to have history. So
yeah,
it's an interesting list. Do you want me to go first, or you?
I think you went first last week, so I'll go first this time.
Fire away, buddy.
So at my number 5, I don't have any honorable mentions because I think it's kind of hard to have an honorable mention here for a Blue Blood. Okay. I think you're either a Blue Blood or you're not. If I were to, UConn is right on that border for me. They are right on that border for me. Number 5, I got Indiana. I mean, when you think of basketball and college basketball, one of the first things you think of is that Indiana Hoosier logo.
Hoosiers? Well, now it's college football too.
Yeah,
apparently.
I mean, now you look at the candle and now you see football. But I mean, the striped pants, the chant, Bobby Knight throwing a chair, all iconic images of Americana. Uh, and it's pioneered by Indiana. Number 4, I got Kansas. Okay. Hear me out here because I feel like Kansas is either mostly a 2 or 3. I got them at 4. It's kind of like they're here, the other 3 are kind of here. Kansas has that recent success and they have that very past success, right? A little bit in between. Oh, I mean they have the history, but they don't have the same amount of history, I believe, as these next 3 programs. I got number 3. I got North Carolina. I mean, again, when you think of college basketball, North Carolina is one of those first teams that you think of. The blue, Michael Jordan being on that team. I mean, Coach Roy Williams as his whole career. And
Dean Smith before that.
Smith, yeah, and I mean, I obviously think of Hubert Davis whenever I think of UNC. So my number 2, I got Duke. Again, I mean, classic brand here. You got Coach K just flying everywhere. You got, I mean, from the 2000s, they were dominant. The 2010s, they've been dominant. The 2020s, they've had some shine with Coach John Shire. They have been that brass ring you want to reach up for. And number one, it's the Bruins. Of course, it's the Bruins.
Wow.
I mean, that you could use the same argument I had with Kansas about success, right? But when you win as many titles in a row or in a run as John Wooden did, there, and you get as much talent as you've had over there, and you have just the memories of basketball that UCLA has, they gotta be number 1 for me. They are, I believe, the most winningest program of all time.
They've got the most titles. They got 11 of them.
They got the most titles, I know for sure. And they just are, to me, what exemplifies elite basketball runs and elite just teams in general.
Well, man, that's what's so fun about these lists because, I've got you by, 25 years or so. So our lists are some the same, some the different. But I'm going to tell you, man, I think you're going to be shocked when you hear some of mine. I did have 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
One is UConn. Me and you were right there. 6 national titles, almost all of them modern. But
they're definitely a modern blue blood, yeah.
Well, they are. And if I'm going to tell you, if Hurley adds another 1 or 2, I mean, before Hurley, you had,
Jim Calhoun.
Jim Calhoun was leading a squad there. There's a lot of great players there, but I just couldn't put them in the top 5. You're going to probably be surprised. I've got Indiana as an honorable mention too.
That's fair. I was teetering on them being a
and the only reason why Indiana's got 5 national titles, they were the last team to go undefeated. Bobby Knight, players like Isaiah Thomas, Steve Alford, who ended up being a great coach there. And you're right, Assembly Hall, the striped pants, everything. I just feel like it's been a long time since we've seen Indiana do much of anything. And that's why I left them off, because I don't think they have a national title since 83 or 4.
Yeah, they don't have a national title since Knight left, pretty sure.
So, way before that, too.
Yeah.
So, at 5, I've got the Kansas Jayhawks.
Okay.
Dr. Naismith. I mean
they
Fog Allen. When I grew up, one of the first teams I remember being really dominant was Danny Banning's Kansas team. They had Roy Williams before UNC had them. Yeah. And Bill Self has been great there. The only reason I couldn't put the Jayhawks a little higher on my list is they've only got 4 national titles. So that's a little tough. I think you're going to be shocked when you hear number 4 from me because it's your number 1. I've got the UCLA Bruins at number 4. 11 national titles, but only 1 in my lifetime.
I knew it was an age thing.
I saw Ed O'Banion and that team win a national title, and I've seen them get a little closer. I mean, they've had some modern players, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love. I mean, don't get me wrong. UCLA is still, they had to be in my top five, but I just couldn't put them any higher than 4. I just couldn't, even after they beat Purdue last night. At number 3, I've got the Duke Blue Devils, and I
Okay.
think you summed it up pretty well. Duke's got 5 national titles, but my whole life, Duke has been pretty dominant. The 80s is when, the late 80s, especially, is when Coach K really got in there and they started cooking. And 5 national titles, but man, I could not tell you how many times I've seen them on the 1 or the 2 line.
Yeah.
ACC championships out of the frame, and one of the best environments in basketball. Always well coached. At number 2, I've got the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Okay.
Like you said, Dean Smith, Roy Williams. Uh, Dude, you talk about a plethora of NBA players. Michael Jordan, the GOAT, James Worthy, freaking everybody from Stackhouse to Rasheed Wallace to modern day players to Poplar Bluffs, Tyler Hansborough. Lots of guys, man. That Tobacco Road, I had to have them there at 2 and 3 because they're interchangeable to me. I couldn't believe you left these guys off your top 5, brother. They're my number 1. The Kentucky Wildcats.
Nope, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Well, national titles. That's second only to UCLA. And Kentucky has spread them out over the years.
Yeah.
Yes, they won them with Adolph Rupp. They also won them with Rick Pitino. They also had one with Tubby Smith and then John Calipari. And, I don't know if Mark Pope, we have to say that the alarm on Kentucky has definitely been silent some. But, man, for me, I've spent some time in the state of Kentucky. And I'm going to tell you, you talked about Ann Arbor not having a whole lot earlier. Well, Kentucky, they have no professional sports team. It's a beautiful state. If you're from Kentucky, please don't throw no hate at me.
Oh no, we're throwing all hate at Kentucky right here.
It's a beautiful state, but they don't have any professional sports teams there.
Yeah.
It's all about college basketball for the most part. Louisville's had a couple of good football teams, Kentucky, whatever. It is about basketball there. And the majority of those people bleed blue. I've seen there's a famous picture of a guy who left the coal mines back in the day, and he's got his kid out there courtside at the game. I mean, it means something different to them. So at number 1 on my list, give me the Kentucky Wildcats.
That's fair. I just with Kentucky, I'm like, well, they're one of the weird ones to me, where I think of college basketball, I do think of Kentucky a little bit, but like UCLA has all the titles.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
I think you nailed a lot of them there, and I think there's some other squads like that are getting up in that atmosphere. I think Arizona's always been kind of knocking on the door of it.
They've been trying to kick the door down for a couple decades.
Well, yeah, Michigan Wolverines, Gonzaga. If they could just win more natties.
If they would win one national title, they'd be a blue blood.
I know,
just
dude.
Probably one, because they have the wins, even though they're playing the local Jesuit pickup team. And then I mean,
you got me with that one.
They have the wins. It's just, man, win a national title, for crying out loud. They were undefeated, and they got housed by Baylor a couple of years ago. That was one of the funniest games ever, right there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny to see, a lot of these universities that I think are on both of our lists aren't going anywhere. I think UCLA and Indiana, they need to kind of kick it into high gear if they can. But I mean, I think that's possible. What Wooden did up there was, you won't ever see anything like that again. So anyway,
I mean, a lot of them have gotten good at a different sport too. Like
yeah,
a lot
they
of
have.
blue bloods, like the Indiana, obviously, elephant in the room, football.
Yeah.
UCLA, I mean, their baseball team's always been pretty good, and their football team has its years of relevancy. I guess. I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's amazing that they've got all those athletes out in California, and they can't seem to. UCLA or USC can't seem to lock it up when it comes to basketball and football, but whatever.
It's really interesting. Well, USC had the #1 recruiting team or recruiting group this year in football, so they might be tapping into some stuff for just California. I want to give some finals before we go off the air, of course. Illinois is going to win 89-70 against Maryland. Kentucky is up 83-78 with 8 seconds left against Texas. They're probably going to win that game.
Sounds like a dub.
Yeah, unless there's some magical force that gives Texas a victory here.
Kentucky on that hot streak, man. Right at the right time, too.
Then Creighton just won by a buzzer beater against Xavier right there. I saw Rick Pitino is going for his 1,000th win this weekend against Xavier, and his son is the coach of Xavier too.
That's just so strange.
You couldn't script it out any better.
You really couldn't.
And then UNC trounces Notre Dame, which we knew that was going to happen. Notre Dame's not a basketball school. 91-69. I wonder how many players opted out of that game for Notre Dame.
Well,
I'm here all
I tell
night.
you what, man, it's been another great episode with you, buddy. And I hope that that you keep your power up there. I know we'll be talking. I hope I keep it here. I've got an 84-year-old that lives out here in an apartment with me, and I would like to keep the heat on. So, man, best wishes to everyone out there. I hope that this weather event, provides a little bit of rest or relaxation and not a whole lot of, stress.
Yeah, and hopefully y'all stay warm, stay safe. Hopefully,
That's right.
Your family stays warm, and maybe you're just inside watching some basketball. I mean, we got Clarkton Cooter tomorrow on the schedule for the Boot Hill Sports Network, and
Nice.
then we also might have South Penn Zenith Friday. I know that it was a maybe on Sunday. I don't know if it's still a maybe right now. And then, I mean, going into the snow, Mark posted something about it today. We're going to have replays of some of the games if we do get snowed out next week. And then, what's next for Boot Hill Conference or Boot Hill action? It's Boot Hill Conference tournament time next week. I believe starting it. Some say the 31st, some say February 2nd. Who knows when that happens? I mean, who knows if the Boot Hill survives 20 possible inches of snow? I'm not sure that there's any infrastructure in the area that is 20 inches high.
The seawall.
I mean, the seawall might get crushed by the snow. Who knows? You know what? The seawall would put a better fight up against Gonzaga than most teams that play Gonzaga. So,
all right, I'm done with you.
So, with that, it's 8:12. Go watch something else. Do something else with your time here. It's been enough talk for us two here on the Boot Hill Sports Network. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday with another episode of Duck Hoops.
See you guys.